We're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate all of you being here. We're joined this morning by NASCAR Cup Series playoff contender Alex Bowman. It was announced yesterday that Alex will drive the number 48 Chevrolet of Hendrick Motorsports beginning next season. We'll be joined very shortly by Crew Chief Greg Ives. He is currently picking pits for today's race. And he will move to the 48 with Alex next season. And he'll be returning to the team where he started his career as an engineer. Alex and Greg have earned Cup Series playoff berths for 3 straight seasons and have posted a win in each of the last 2. Alex is one of just 9 drivers in the series who have done that, 5 of those being former series champions. And this weekend, he'll be looking to advance into the playoffs round of 8 this Sunday at the Charlotte Roval. We're very pleased to also be joined by Andrea Brimmer, the Chief Marketing and PR Officer for Ally. Ally, as everyone knows, has been the full season primary sponsor of the number 48 team since 2019, and last year extended its relationship with Hendrick Motorsports through 2023. So just a few housekeeping items before we get going here. We've enabled the video record function. So if you experience any issues with recording, please let us know in the chat, and we'll make sure that we look into it and get you set up. In addition, our friends with Chevy PR will distribute a transcript of this session later today. So big thanks to them for that. If you have a question for any of our guests today, please use the raise your hand feature, and we'll get to as many questions as we can in the next 20-25 minutes or so. And as I mentioned, please be sure to keep yourself muted if you're not speaking. So to get started, Alex, congratulations on the announcement. When you got that call from Mr. Hendrick that you'd be moving to the 48 next year with a full season primary sponsor and Ally, how did you react?
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. My initial reaction was just being, you know, excited and honored to drive the number 48 car. Jimmy's meant a lot to me throughout my career and everything he's done for me, whether it's being a friend off the racetrack and just somebody to get advice from, or a great teammate. It's been awesome to get to work with him and to get to know him. So to get to drive that car is an honor, and I just want to go get it in victory lane and have a lot of fun doing it.
Thanks, Alex. And we've got Greg Ives has joined us. So Greg, I'm gonna jump right in with you real quick. So you won 5 championships as the 48's engineer. You've gone on to be a championship and race winning crew chief yourself. Got a ton of history with the 48. What does it mean to have a chance to be a crew chief for the team where you started your career?
Well, first off, Jesse, you got me on microphone?
Gotcha.
All right, perfect. Yeah, you know, it's definitely truly special for me. You know, the 48 number is, you know, pretty close to my heart, just because it's something that's helped my career, open doors for me. You know, the success that Chad and Jimmy had together allowed me to grow, not only as an engineer, but also how to lead a team, how to truly have character on and off the racetrack, allowed me to understand, you know, what it takes to have a good team around you, great people. And then also, you know, it helped build my relationship with the driver. So, you know, I think that's something that I've used over the course of my career since leaving the 48 team and, you know, starting my own career and going to JRM and working with different drivers, coming back to Hendrick Motorsports. You know, I think, you know, that team, that number has built a pedigree that's known for greatness and known for their competitiveness on the racetrack. But you know, I know Jimmy's also known for what he does for his teammates and his people. So it's something that's truly special, kind of full circle for sure. And you know, I still remember that first day when you know, Chad asked me to be his race engineer. So connecting all these dots and connecting, what Hendrick Motorsports has meant to me, and the numbers along the way have truly defined different time spots in my career. But all in all, as a whole, Hendrick Motorsports has done a lot for my career, and it's truly special. And I'm honored to be able to represent Ally and also to represent the 48 again.
Thanks, Greg. Andrea, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning too. Want to ask you about Ally's approach to this new chapter of the 48 team with Alex as your driver, and what do you see as Ally's objectives for the sponsorship as you go into 2021?
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. Well, first I want to say I think Greg and Alex both look good in Ally gear, so I'm excited to see that. And Alex is somebody that I think represents the future of what NASCAR is about, and he's an unbelievable driver. We want to win championships, and we know with Greg and Alex that we have great ability to be able to do that. I mean, the 48 is a special car. It needs to be honored, and the legacy of it needs to be carried forward. And we think that with Greg and Alex, we have the best ability to carry that legacy forward in a really strong way. When we entered the sport 2 years ago, our aim was really to do things differently and to disrupt and to really bring fans a whole new level of engagement and to tell a different side of the sport and the story behind what goes into getting that car on the track every day. And then really, working closely with the driver to make sure that, in Jimmy's case, that he felt really comfortable behind the wheel of 48, and he really felt like he had a big say in what was happening with everything that we were doing. We want to do the same thing with Alex. We want to make the car his own. We want to, let his personality shine through, and we want to make sure that he knows that he's got, us on board with him so that he can be the best he can be on the track.
Thanks, Andrea. We're going to open it up to questions now. Again, please use the raise your hand feature. We'll get to as many as possible, we promise. And please, if you would, please introduce yourself with your name and affiliation. So we'll kick it off with Mark Garrow. Mark, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mark Garrow, PRN. First, congratulations, Alex. Your thoughts, you take over a car for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and you think to yourself, well, that's kind of hard to top. Well, now you're taking over Jimmy Johnson's car. Just your thoughts on following the footsteps of two drivers like that, and what maybe, jumping into Junior's car will help you, through the process of jumping into another car with such a great legacy.
Yeah, I think for sure the experience of the first one helps for the second one. The biggest thing is I just want to be myself and I didn't try to be Dale. I didn't want to be Dale. And the same with Jimmy. I don't want to be Jimmy. I want to win 7 championships and do all the great things that he did, but I'm my own person. So I'm just going to approach it like another race car. I'm really excited to work with Ally. And the biggest thing for me is I want to go win races and win championships. I think for me, I'm kind of quiet and reserved, and I want the on-track stuff to speak for me the most, and I want that to be wins and championships. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the opportunity to go and do that, and to work with Ally. Getting to know everybody over the last week and a half or so has been really neat. The way they do things is really cool, and the way they disrupt and do things differently is really special. So to have the same partner on the car for the whole year, to get to kind of grow with them and make it my own with them is going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully there's a lot of wins along the way.
And if I could just follow up, just your feelings about the playoffs and going into the Roval this weekend and the final race in round 2.
Yeah, I'm glad we've had so much going on this week. It's kind of kept me from thinking about the playoffs as much as I probably would, at least getting stressed out about them as much as I normally would. So there's never a comfortable spot going into a cutoff round unless you're locked in. So, we have 22 points, but it's not comfortable by any means. I'm still stressed out as ever. So we just need to go have a good, solid day. The Roval's been good to us over the last couple of years, even though it's been some really hard days. We've had some really good finishes. So hopefully we can just have a good solid day and not have to worry about it too much and move on to the round of 8.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. We'll next go to Bob Pockrass.
Yeah, I have one for both Greg and one for Alex. I'll start with Alex. I mean, you're still at Hendrick Motorsports, just new number and new paint scheme and new sponsor. So how different is 2021 that you look at compared to 2020?
I think the biggest difference is the opportunity to work with Ally and to grow with them. I'm excited about that. As far as the on-track stuff, the number is different. Like you said, the paint scheme is going to be different, but still working with Greg, still have, a lot of confidence in our relationship and what we can bring to the table. So I don't think the on-track stuff is much different. Obviously we're trying to improve each and every week and get better. But I'm just excited to work with Ally and to try to make that my own.
And for Greg, obviously with Chad taking an executive role, there needs to be a new crew chief at Hendrick, and obviously that kind of lends itself to opportunities of potential changes. I'm curious, was there any discussion about you crew chiefing anyone else, or was there, in addition to that, what makes it right for you to stick with Alex?
Yeah, there was changes with Chad, but never was there a discussion about Alex and I losing that relationship that we have built over the last 3.5 years. Him coming in initially and filling in for Dale. I think we hit it off right off the bat, and we went to probably one of his least favorite racetracks in Loudon, New Hampshire, and he had a great showing. I think he showed a lot of poise and comfort back then, coming in and filling in for Dale. And we haven't had a perfect relationship. We've had one or two ups and downs here and there, but the nice thing about us working together is we work through those, and you're going to have that in every serious relationship. And there was no question in my mind of who I wanted to be crew chief for, and that was a mutual thing on Alex's side. So for me, 100%, there was no thoughts of anything other than going to Ally with Alex and continuing on our continuous progress of doing great things on the racetrack, but also looking forward to doing great things off of it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. We'll go to Greg Engel next.
Hi, Alex. I have a question for you and a follow-up for our new sponsor, or the old sponsor who's now new. Congratulations, obviously. And obviously this was going on for a while. This is something that just, it's not a snap decision. And I'm kind of curious, when you knew you were on the list, so to speak, and between the time you actually got the phone call that officially confirming, I'd like to know how you felt during that time. Was it kind of nervous energy, yeah, I hope I get it, but I can't think about it. And then actually the getting the phone call, whether it was Mr. H or somebody calling you and say, hey, guess what, you're it. How did that moment feel? I know there's honor and all that, but how did that moment feel for you as a person?
Yeah, there really wasn't an in-between time there. I obviously signed a contract extension earlier this year that I was going to continue to drive for Hendrick Motorsports next year. I didn't know that there might be a number change and all that. I really didn't know what was going on. As far as I knew, I was driving the 88 car and everything was staying the same. And I got a phone call to go meet with Mr. H, and that was the first thing he said was, you're going to drive the 48 next year with Ally, and Greg's going to be your crew chief. So there wasn't any nervous energy because it hit me out of nowhere, but it was, it means a lot to me that they have confidence in me to take over a car like that and to work with a partner like Ally. It means a lot that Ally has confidence in me to do that. And it was really special, and just want to go win for them, really.
I think
I'd like to add something to that.
Yes.
performance adds opportunity. And, I get to see firsthand what Alex does on a weekly basis and how hard he competes not only on the racetrack, but in his regiment to get ready every week, whether it's DIL, willingly to, spend 4 hours every week in the DIL, whether it's, working out every morning and every afternoon. I see that from the side of, putting in the work, putting in the right effort, and then that lends to performance on the racetrack. And I always say performance equals opportunity. That's Alex hard work and dedication to his career and trying to make my job a little easier.
Thanks, Greg. Quick follow-up from Miss Brimmer. Ally coming into the sport as a full-time sponsor. Those used to be, it used to be the norm to have a full-time round, whole full season sponsor. Not so much anymore. What was Ally's attraction to coming into the sport and signing on as a full all-in sponsor?
I think from our lens, it didn't make a lot of sense for us to share the car. We just didn't feel like we would be able to have the presence that we wanted to have if we didn't come in as a full-time sponsor, and we wanted to have that continuity. We liked the direction that NASCAR was going in. We feel like they're bringing in a lot of new fans, and that there was a big opportunity for us to start to reach a new audience of really loyal fans. Obviously, having a driver like Jimmy for the last couple of years was a really unique opportunity to be part of that legacy. And we just felt like if we came in halfway, that we really wouldn't be showing our best self. And so we wanted to come in full time. And we also felt from the driver perspective, that it would give Jimmy peace of mind, that he didn't have to worry all season about who the sponsor was on the car. And we wanted to continue with that same thing for Alex, so that that's something that he and Greg don't have to even think about, that they know that they've got a partner that's present, that's with them, 24/7, that we're on the car, that we're committed to this long term. It's actually why we extended even prior to the driver announcement, because we wanted to make sure that both the sport, the fans, Hendrick Motorsports, and obviously Alex and Greg knew that we were in it for the long haul.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate those questions. We'll go to Michael Shelton next.
Thank you very much. Well, just Alex and Greg, congratulations on the promotion, if you will. And I just wanted to get your feelings on having this new deal take place and having it completed, before 2021, especially the year before you guys are supposed to transition to the next gen car in 2022. How important is it that this is done now so you have plenty of time to plan ahead for the future?
Greg, you want to take that first?
Yeah, I definitely can take it. The last question to Andrea was, having the full-time sponsorship all year long, and the interaction between the sponsor and the team has to be based around performance and based around a relationship that is able to grow and flourish and have the ability to show not only what happens on track, but the relationship off of it. So, getting that start and understanding and knowing, I've worked with Ally over the last 2 years as a competitor, somewhat in the same stable, seeing that car and that team and how they work and operate, and the flexibility they have in performance. So that's been really great to see, and looking forward to it. But, as far as the future goes, to go back to, performance creates opportunity, and that's going to create our future. So, every stepping stone, every door that's open along the way is based on a team's performance, not only just Alex, but the team that I have built over the last few years. And, that this is an opportunity for us to come in, be part of a great organization like Ally, and grow as a team. I don't think you'll find a better group of guys to work with, that make the sponsor feel like they're at home. But, you know, for us as a group, it's going to help solidify, you know, just that unity, just that identity that, you know, we have to create and we have to build together. And, you know, having that sense of calmness, you know, like I said, performance equals opportunity, but without that, you know, you don't have the, I wouldn't say confidence, but you don't have know that the people are behind you. And with this announcement, with this change, with this adjustment, we know the group of people we have behind us, supporting us, and, you know, pulling in the right direction.
Yeah, following. I just want to get your thoughts as well, Alex, on how important it is that this is done now, so especially when the transition period for NASCAR coming in 2022 with the next gen car.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a lot of what Greg said is how I feel. You know, 2020 in general brought a lot of nervousness to a lot of people, whether it was anybody throughout any organization. You know, it's been a hard time for everybody. For our race team, our group of guys, to know that we have Ally behind us, and that Mr. H, Ally, everybody has faith in us as a group to continue to work together. You know, I feel like that enables people to not worry about things and just focus on the task at hand. So whether it's the guys in the shop, you know, just not having that little bit of nervousness, not having to worry about that, and just being able to go do their jobs and do the best job that they can. I think that's a really important thing. For me, I'm a race car driver. Everything is immediate in a sense. You know, I'm focused on this weekend, and then next week I'll be focused on the following weekend. The 2022 car seems forever away to me, but as an organization at Hendrick Motorsports, the 2022 car probably seems like it's going to show up tomorrow. So there's a lot of work that needs to happen between now and then. And I think just having the confidence and not having to worry about anything and just kind of being more sure about things helps people prepare for that a little better.
Thank you. Congratulations again. Good luck this weekend at the Roval.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll go to Woody Kane next.
Hey guys, Woody Kane with MRN. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Even though we're talking primarily about next year, you still have a job in front of you right now. Let's think optimistically that everything goes okay at the Roval. For both of you, take a look at that next round, if you will, and where you feel like the team is as a whole and what you'd like to improve on going into those three races.
Yeah, I think we're in a really good spot. We've been really strong over the last month or so. You know, it's no secret that the summer was rough on us, but our guys worked extremely hard, continued to work well together throughout some tough circumstances. And I feel like we grew as a race team because of that. And we were able to start the playoffs really strong, and we've been strong each and every week. So I think, you know, going to the next round, there's two opportunities to win between Kansas and Texas, and going to Martinsville. We've improved there. You know, we were pretty strong there in the spring, but there's still things that I can learn there and do a better job of. And you know, I'm still figuring out the short track thing a little bit. So I feel like it's probably going to take a win to make it to the round of four, just where we are in playoff points and everything. You know, it's not impossible to point our way in, but we'd have to be perfect each and every week. It'd be a heck of a lot easier to win one of the first two. So I feel like we can do that. We're very capable of doing that. Our 1.5 mile program is really strong, and I think we have a shot at it for sure.
Yeah, based on you know, on what Alex said too, you know, I feel like each round we've had our strengths, and we have had our areas that, you know, we have to continue to work on. And I wouldn't say they're a weakness, but they're areas that we know we have to improve. We have to run solidly. We have to gain points and not beat ourselves. And I think we've been able to do that over the course of the first 6 races or 5 races, sorry. Going in the Roval as well, you know, you look at on the paper, we have a great average finish, but that came with a lot of adversity throughout the race, whether it was starting with the backup car, whether Alex wasn't feeling well at the time, you know, a lot of things that we had to overcome. And that's the true character and the true grit of a team is not so much when the average finish looks great and the expectation of winning is there. It's on those days, like we'll probably have when it comes to Martinsville, digging down deep, figuring out, you know, ways to, you know, make that improvement and get the spots that you need. So, and that's what we're going to have to do when it comes to the Roval. Kansas and Texas, like you said, I feel like there's no doubt in my mind we can go out there and win the race. And Martinsville just has to be one of those our best day, you know. And like Alex said, we've been improving at Martinsville. You know, a short track game, you know, at Phoenix is pretty stellar. So looking forward to that. You know, when we do make the round of the last round, you know, the last round of 4 there. So you know, it's just continuously improving and continuously building each other up to take on the next challenge, and that's what we're looking forward to do.
All right, thank you both.
Thanks, Woody. We're next going to go to Dustin Long.
Thank you, Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I have one for Alex and one for Greg. Alex, this weekend, the weather at this point looks like the potential for rain on Sunday. How challenging is the Roval, and what might it be like? What would be the extra challenges with the potential for rain?
Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be interesting for sure. I'm, you know, I like things that are different. You know, whether it's going to new racetracks or new things. So the rain would be pretty different. So maybe I'd like it, but you know, it's going to be interesting and definitely a difficult thing to adapt to and a challenge. I think the particular challenge about the Roval in the rain is it's so narrow through the infield that there's not a lane to run off groove, right? So a lot of racetracks you go to, you run off groove to stay out of the rubber, because obviously rubber and oil in the rain gets very slick. The Roval, there's not really room for that. There's a lot of painted sections, which paint in the rain gets really slick. You're always using a lot of curbs through the infield. Curbs in the rain get really slick. So in the simulator yesterday, I was kind of just looking at it, trying to figure out like where you'd run through each corner, and there's not a great place to run anywhere. So it's going to be really interesting. You know, I think it's going to be very difficult if that does happen. And some of the road course racers that have some rain experience, like I think Michael McDowell is probably the most excited person in the world right now. But you know, I just got to go try to do the best job I can, and I feel like I'll be able to adapt to it. It's just going to be a challenge for sure.
And let me just check really quickly, Alex. Have you ever run in the rain? I don't recall you having run.
No, I ran some practice laps at Road America in Xfinity that was like half dry. So that was different though. It was like really patchy, was not currently raining. Other than that, I mean, we technically all raced at Bristol in the snow that year, but I don't know if you can really count that.
Thank you. And Greg, I'm just curious, obviously you talked about the adversity at the Roval last year, and obviously you guys went through a lot of things, but typically on road courses, you especially want to pit in green most of the time and have as few pit stops as possible. I think you got 6 stops, including the first one, the first lap. Why is the Roval a little bit different pit strategy, or why did that work so well last year?
Well, ultimately, you know, we were in a position of battling for different points, and I think, you know, the little bit of difficulty that we had early caused us to kind of get off our plan a little bit. You know, that's where your ability to adjust and to the environment that you're given really comes to play. And we knew that those guys that were having good days in their playoff points, we had to do something different to take advantage of that in the final stage. So, you know, we just adapted to the race that was given to us. And, you know, we just took advantage of different opportunities. It was a gamble for sure. Not every gamble plays out and never always works, but if you don't take it, you'll never know. And that's the confidence I have in Alex to execute. When we're not right on game plan, that's the confidence I have in the guys that surround me that make me look good on Sundays, to give me the best information and allow me to make a decision. So yes, it was unconventional. It was effective. And, you know, I think sometimes that's what it takes when your day's not going perfect. You got to make the most of it. And, you know, to add on what Alex said about driving in the rain, you know, you can say what makes a good driver driving in the dry, right? So it takes the ability for a driver to understand the limit of the race car and understand the limit of the racetrack, and you know, and the scenario. So, you know, we're going in there with a decent point lead, but nothing that's comfortable by any means. So our job is to take the day if it's raining, get all we can out of the race car, but not take ourselves out of the race. And ultimately, I feel like that's where Alex does a really good job of doing, and you know, making the best out of every scenario, just like we did with the six stop strategy at the Roval last year. So, you know, whatever weather gives us, we're going to take the advantage of whatever it is, whether it's, you know, slowing down a beat just to make sure we're there at the end of the race. And like Alex said, he's doing everything he can, whether it's the DIL to prep for it, to just mentally understanding what he needs to do to get to the next round.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dustin. We're going to extend our time a little bit here. We've got still got a few questions stacked up, and want to make sure that everybody gets what they need today. Andrea, I want to just throw something at you. You know, you've talked privately about some of the attributes that Alex has that make him a good fit for Ally, and was hoping maybe you could touch on a few of those. And then you've also described Ally as a disruptor from a marketing perspective, and so interested to hear your thoughts on how that fits in with your NASCAR program.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. You know, I think one of the things that we love about this relationship is that Alex has a lot of the same values that we do. And that's really important to us. We really only align our brand with people that share the values that we do, both in terms of giving back, around being a good citizen of the world. You heard Alex say it at the onset of this, which is, you know, he doesn't, he lets it all speak for itself on the track, and we love that about him. And we want to bring that forward. We want, you know, the fans to get to know Alex a little bit better, to understand the things that he's passionate about, you know, his passion for cars, his passion for animals, especially dogs, and just the hard worker that he is, and the time that he puts in, and I think the quiet confidence that he and the team with Greg have. We love that, and I think it reflects a lot of what our brand is about. So from that perspective, that's a big part of the story that we want to tell as we go into next year, and let the world get to know Alex a little bit better. You know, in terms of the disruptive piece, you know, for us, whether it was having 100 people from Ally fly out and cheer Jimmy on as he ran the Boston Marathon, or doing things like, you know, introducing Ally Fueling Futures, where we brought in kids from schools before every race and taught them the technology behind what goes into a team, and really got them to know the sport from that perspective, to help bring those casual fans in kind of from the sidelines, you know, to all of the different things, even just the way that we introduced Jimmy's, you know, Jimmy's car with the Easter eggs. When we launched, we're always looking for different ways to get people interested and intrigued. And And, I think we're going to do some fun things with Alex as well, really leaning into those passions and really kind of getting people to think differently about the sport. So that's really going to be our focus as we go into 2021.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll go back to questions. We'll go to Jim Utter. Jim, go ahead.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. For Alex, you've had a relatively kind of a short but very extensive tenure at Hendrick Motorsports, starting off risking staying there with no guarantee of job and doing all the sim work. And I just wondered if you could describe a little bit your journey at Hendrick Motorsports, and did you ever fathom it would come so far so fast?
Yeah, it's been really interesting for sure. To start in 2016, to get a phone call from Kenny Francis to come drive the simulator because every other driver was in Daytona, and I got fired on Twitter, so I wasn't there. And to go through that, drive the simulator for them quite a bit that year, and then end up filling in for Dale while he was hurt, kind of splitting that car with Jeff Gordon, to going back to the simulator in 2017 and then full-time in 2018. It was definitely a whirlwind. Everything happens for a reason, and to have 2016 go the way it did and to end up driving for Hendrick Motorsports because of it is pretty amazing to me. Definitely never would have thought that any of that would have happened. So, since 2018, it's been, I've just been focused on trying to win races and perform the best that I can and represent our partners the best that I can. But those couple years were definitely a whirlwind and very life-changing. So, I think to look back on it all is pretty crazy for sure.
And do you think that your journey in motorsports in general kind of might lend some hope to other guys, young guys, that there are paths up the ladder based on, what kind of person you are and your performance, and not just all about money?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the biggest motorsports problem right now, right? Is that it is so hard to make it without a bunch of money behind you. And obviously my family did absolutely everything that they could and sacrificed a lot to try to get me opportunities. And in the end, it ended up being enough, but it didn't look like it was going to be enough for quite a while. So hopefully my story provides some hope to people. And I think, the moral of the story is just to never give up. There were times in 2015 and really 2016 that I was like, man, I need to go to college and get a degree and find something to do, because it's just not working. And, I was close, but I never gave up. And to end up here is really cool for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Jim. We'll go to Jason Barr next.
Alex, Jason Barr from K-Gun TV, the ABC station in your hometown of Tucson. And my question is for both. Congratulations, certainly. We have an audience that's not exactly a hardcore NASCAR fan or even a hardcore sports fan. So my question is, what would you say to somebody who's not that familiar with the sport, who might not understand why numbers aren't retired in NASCAR the way they are in, say, basketball and the stick and ball sports?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I feel like the number becomes really important as a brand to the organization, the partners, kind of everybody involved. You put so much behind a number, and obviously it means a ton to the driver. So the 88 meant a ton to Dale Jr. The 48 means a ton to Jimmy Johnson. Obviously, Jimmy made the 48 what it is, but Hendrick Motorsports also was a big part of making the 48 what it is, and an ally for the past couple of years has become a big part of what the 48 is. So the 48 means a lot to to everybody, and it's definitely necessary to keep it going. You know, from my side, it's an honor to get to drive that car, and I want to go win races and do that car proud and make it my own. You know, I'm never going to be Jimmy Johnson, but I think we can definitely add to the legacy and add to the wins column and hopefully the championships column as well.
Greg, if you have anything to add to that, that's great. If not, that's okay.
Yeah, what Alex said is definitely spot on. You know, it takes such a group of people to, you know, make success on the racetrack, and just because they're not in the headlines doesn't mean that their support and what they do day in, day out doesn't contribute to the legacy and the meaning of that number. So, you know, for me, like I said, that was a career builder for me to work under the 48 banner, and to be able to come back to it, it's definitely you know, come full circle for me. But if not given that opportunity, potentially, you know, it definitely would be something that I would want to continue to try to achieve. So yeah, retiring numbers, you know, it's something that I think we got to continue to honor the history of the sport, honor the history of the number. But, you know, and in that way, it's about going out there, doing that number proud, and also the sponsor, the team that it represents.
Thanks so much. Hopefully Alex can be in the Final Four and we can see you all 100 miles away from us in Phoenix in a few weeks down the road. Good luck this weekend in Charlotte.
Thank you.
Jason, thanks for that. And actually, that's a great question. I want to give Andrea an opportunity to respond to that from a sponsor perspective, why the car number is important and staying with that consistency with the 48.
Yeah, I mean, for us, there's a huge fan base that comes along with the 48. I mean, granted, you have people that are fans of the 48 because of Jimmy, but there is a legacy with the car itself and with the number. And, you know, as a sponsor, you invest a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy into building that fandom around the car number. And so, you know, making sure that carried on with Alex and Greg was important from our lens, just given how much effort we've put into extending like I said, the fan base around that the last couple of years. So I think that piece is important. And to me, I think the best honor you can do to it is to continue the legacy and to win and to get additional championships, you know, behind the 48 and make sure that we're doing everything as a sponsor to enable that.
Thank you. We got a few more questions left here. We'll go to Lee Spencer and then we'll go to Jerry Jordan after that.
A little bit on just how challenging was it to put this program together during a pandemic, because you know there's probably a lot of flying back and forth, you know, face-to-face meetings that you would want to have when looking at candidates for a role as large as this. I mean, we all know Alex's passion, but I'm just kind of curious, you know, what were some of the challenges that were faced trying to get this done? And, you know, what are just in general during the pandemic have the challenges been for sponsors in NASCAR?
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenging year, you know, across every aspect of marketing, you know, not just NASCAR. In terms of your first question, a lot of phone calls with Rick. We started early on. You know, we've got a great relationship with Hendrick Motorsports, a great relationship with Hendrick Automotive. We have for a long time. So, you know, I've known Rick for a long time. He picked up the phone very early on this year, and we started having, you know, driver conversations, and we have a lot of faith in him, and just given the history of the relationship, really leaned heavily into Rick's recommendation and Rick's bias towards Alex right from the beginning. And so there really wasn't flying back and forth or any of those things that were necessary. I think I had 2 or 3 conversations with Rick. My boss, Jeff Brown, had a couple of conversations, who's our CEO, had a couple of conversations with Rick, and that was it. We agreed that Alex was the right driver for us. Obviously, we did our homework to make sure that we knew Alex and that his values aligned with our values. See, Alex, all the stuff was happening without you even knowing it in the background, and it became an easy choice for us. And the more we watched him kind of grow on the track all season long, the more and more excited we got about it. In terms of the challenges, yeah, huge pivots. We are used to engaging fans literally at every race. And so not having the ability to be on track. I mean, we've got all of our people working from home, so we certainly aren't going to send our folks out to tracks to do things. So we really had to get creative in terms of how we could use things like iRacing to bridge us when the guys weren't on the track, and get that sim at Jimmy's house and have some fun with him around that. And then really do a lot of content to interest people and keep people engaged. We just did a big content play with Danny Coker from Counts Customs, where he designed a car for Jimmy, and we filmed a lot of that and put that out there. We're doing a lot of different things in terms of trying to engage people just in social and online, as opposed to being on the track. And so from that perspective, it's definitely been a challenge, but I have got to give kudos to NASCAR. I think they have led really of all the sports platforms that we work across in terms of the way that they've approached making sure that the sponsors really get the value this year. And it's been pretty impressive. And I think we've actually seen our numbers grow quite a bit this year. Ratings have been up. So it's been great from all of those aspects.
Really appreciate your time today. Good luck next year.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the question.
Thanks, Lee. We'll go to Jerry, and then we're going to finish up with Mark Mcloone.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. Alex, for you, Andrea kind of set up my question perfectly, because when you hear your sponsor talk about how much bias or attitude your owner has towards you, how does that make you feel knowing that you were chosen for this position at the organization?
Yeah, it's definitely a big confidence booster for me. I think to know that Mr. H has faith in me, and our partners at Ally have faith in me as well. It means the world to me. I think, obviously getting the 88 back in victory lane was a big part of that. And, I feel like being able to kind of show my work ethic, and I had to earn that, right? It wasn't given. So to have Mr. H have that much faith in me and have noticed everything that I'm doing, it's really special, and I'm very appreciative for it.
That also, that photo that went out with the release yesterday, there looked like there was some attitude, like in your pose and your stance there. Is that something we can expect? Is this take charge type of attitude going forward?
Yeah, I'm here to win races. I'm not here to hang out and make friends and hang out in the bus lot and do all that. I'm here to win, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. So whatever it takes to get that done, I'm willing to do, and I'm really excited for the future.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. We're going to finish up with Mark Mcloone from Alex's home state of Arizona.
Hey, Alex, good to see you again. Thanks for the time today. Hey, I ask you this a lot when we've done interviews, but just representing Arizona, and especially just kind of hearing your story about, almost calling it quits and going back to college. What's it mean to represent Arizona through all of that?
Yeah, it's really cool. I think there are a lot of race car drivers from Arizona over the course of the years that were extremely successful. Maybe not particularly in NASCAR, but throughout open wheel stuff and other forms of racing. So, I feel like there were some really big names, and I don't want to take away from that at all. But to be, I think I'm the first driver from Arizona to win a cup race. So I think that's something that means a lot to me. Something that's really cool, just considering everybody that's come from there, and how many great race car drivers have. So it's cool to represent Arizona. Obviously, there's some more Arizona guys in the Cup Series with McDowell, and but it's really cool for sure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks again to everybody, especially to our guests for joining us this morning, to our friends in the media for taking the time. We miss seeing you guys at the racetrack every weekend. Looking forward to getting back to that, and always appreciate the coverage. So hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and we'll see everyone soon. Thank you.